Howdy doodly neighborinos, good Monday. Hope you had a great weekend, Reece. It's Ned Flanders, calm down. Wow, okay, well, we've got hot news to go through today, and before we do that, I want to tell you about today's video sponsor, which is Displate. Check out these dope metal prints at the link in the video description, displate.com/UFD Tech Official. Probably one of the very few things in this office that I'm gonna miss as far as like the decor and how everything is, but we can get new ones in the States. But dope metal prints, they mount with magnets, they plant 10 trees for every displate you buy, and if you use the coupon code UFD, you'll save 15% off on your next purchase with them. Do it. You can get these large sizes, they also have smaller, medium sizes, and then they have giant ones that are 4 panels that take up a sizable portion of your wall. Anyways, check it out at the link in the video description, and then let's go ahead and move on into the title topic, which is Intel's i3 chips are apparently, the new ones from Comet Lake, the 10D series, are going to be 31% faster than the 9th gen i3 9100. That sounds fantastic. It's actually quite remarkable considering that the i3 10D100 is only going to have a 200 megahertz core clock increase on the boost clock, but it's because Intel is going to be adding hyperthreading to the i3 series. Finally, which makes a ton of sense given the competition. And this also puts some things into perspective from last week when Intel canceled the entire Kaby Lake series because the highest end chip there was the i7-7700K, which had 4 cores, 8 threads. The i3 10D100 will have 4 cores and 8 threads. So now one of the lower end offerings is matching the highest end offerings of January 2017, which shows you just how much of an impact AMD has actually had on Intel's bottom line in making them forced to be competitive in some regard. So we don't have a ton more information about the Comet Lake series, but there are some benchmarks that are coming out now. What we do have good indication on is that the i3 10100 is going to be 4 cores, 8 threads, and then it will go all the way up to a 10 core, 20 thread CPU and will require a brand new chipset from Intel. You're not going to be able to run this on your Z370 or Z390 motherboards. You're going to have to just keep getting new motherboards. I think that's probably the only part of competition that AMD hasn't been able to touch is the fact that Intel keeps phasing things out, even though AMD has promised 4 to 5 years of motherboard compatibility for AM4. So hopefully we'll get there at some point, but the i3 10D100, 31% faster, but most of it's hyperthreading. But a win's a win, okay? That's what I'm gonna say right now. Intel giving us more for less, finally. But then we can talk a little bit more about Intel and AMD's competitive advantage. Apparently, according to a new video from Adore TV, there is a leaked slide showing what Intel thinks is its key advantage against AMD, especially in like the server environment where EPYC seems to be growing, especially with its 64 core CPUs that absolutely beat a lot of what Intel has on the market. And Intel's key advantage is its finances. Yes, my friends, this is not the first time Intel has flexed its financial horsepower, which is what they're calling it, against AMD. Obviously, there are a ton of videos out on the internet talking about how Intel did some like anti-competitive stuff by paying people to not sell AMD. Whatever. Apparently the revenue that they're going to be using is now going to be in the way of discounts and incentives to get people to buy their products over AMD. And the slide that they show off is AMD's total net income is roughly $300 million, whereas Intel's competition budget to screw over AMD is $3 billion. So a 10 times increase on what they're able to spend to just screw over AMD versus what AMD makes as a whole. Which, I mean, they're not wrong. Money can buy happiness. Flex on them AMDers. But let's talk about products that nobody knew they needed, especially when the original came out, and that is the GTX 1660. A lot of people didn't really see a reason for it to exist, especially since it only had GDDR5 VRAM when everything was on GDDR6. Well, the GTX 16 Super, which basically got confirmed by these leaked images from Zotac, show that it indeed will be upgraded to GDDR6, will be in their Super lineup, but won't have ray tracing hardware, so why would you buy it? I mean, that's what the big CEO Jensen says himself. It's stupid to buy anything without ray tracing hardware. So it's stupid to buy NVIDIA's own products. I'm just saying. But you know what's not going to be stupid to buy, or will be? I don't know. The pricing actually makes it look a little stupid. Anyways, let's talk about the Pixel 4 because it cannot stop getting leaked. It's just been out on the internet everywhere. I mean, originally, a few months ago, leaked images of the Pixel 4 came out, and so Google published their own images to be like, okay, let's get ahead. Everything just seems to be going wrong. So we've got leaks from Best Buy, we've got leaks from Linus, we've got leaks from a whole bunch of people, and essentially, Best Buy Canada confirmed key specs about the Pixel 4. It's going to have a 90 Hz OLED screen, 1440p. It's going to be great. Also going to have face unlock. It's going to have the Snapdragon 855 Plus. It's going to have all of the specs that you would expect a flagship phone to have at this point. Oh, sorry, it's not the Plus. It's just the regular 855. Excuse me. 6 gigs of RAM, up to 128 gigs storage, dual rear cameras, all of that good stuff, and can finally charge wirelessly. Finally on a Pixel device. However, with all of these specs and its flagship-esque levels of goodness, the price apparently is going up, at least according to one leak image from a Best Buy employee who showed that the internal stock shows that it's going to be launched for $999 for the Pixel 4 XL, and then the Pixel 4, even though we don't have the price, will likely come in at $900, which, if we learned anything from what happened to Apple, this price is actually a little bit too expensive, especially since the Pixel 4 is not going to have the 855 Plus, just the regular 855, and it doesn't have all of the features that you would expect a modern flagship to have. It's a good phone, but I think it's an $800 phone, not a $1,000 phone. I don't know, that's just me. And then I talked about Linus doing a leak. He apparently physically had it out on the WAN show on Friday, so they've apparently blurred it in the after video now, so you can't go find it, but it's out on the internet now. And another leak is that Google will be probably doing away with the Pixel 3 series entirely, and for going forward, it's just going to be the Pixel 4 and the Pixel 3a series. So those are the ones that are going to be for sale, which makes a lot of sense. Google has actually been chopping the price down on the Pixel 3 series for the past few months. You can pick one up, I believe, for $500 right now. So it makes sense that they've been trying to clear stock, and the 3A and 3A XL, which are going to be the more budget-oriented phones, are going to stay on, and then the Pixel 4 is going to have everything that you want. But let's talk about Apple's alternative to the Pixel 3a, and that is the upcoming, at least rumored, iPhone SE2, which has more details confirmed about it, at least via the leaker who has said that it's existing in the first place. It's basically going to have the iPhone 8 design, $400 starting price, 64 gigs of storage. It's going to come in 3 different colors. You got silver, space gray, and red, and then there will be no Force Touch, which makes sense because Apple even did away with those on the flagship devices, and supposedly it will have 3 gigabytes of RAM. But while we're talking about expensive things that shouldn't exist and their budget alternatives, let's go ahead and talk about the new Porsche Taycan 4S. In case you don't remember, Porsche announced their electric vehicle a little while ago. It's going to come in at around $150,000 to $180,000, and it's going to rival the P100D Model S version from Tesla, the dual motor one, not the upcoming Plaid version triple motor that's supposed to be coming out. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. The Taycan 4S is supposed to be the budget Porsche electric car. And when I say budget, I mean the starting price is $103,000, which is not budget for anybody. However, looking at the specs, it actually looks like a Model 3 would be a better choice for a lot of people. So let's go ahead and go through the Taycan 4S specs. You got a 79.2 kilowatt hour battery. The performance model of the Model 3 has 80 kilowatt hours. And then the Performance Battery Plus version of the 4S will have a 93.4 kilowatt hour battery, and then 482 horsepower, 479 foot-pounds of torque, which is all great. It's supposed to combine to get a 0 to 60 time of 3.8 seconds with a top speed of 155 miles an hour, with no talk about what exactly the range is going to be. No EPA estimated range. But if we just take a quick look at the Tesla Model 3 Performance Edition, which comes in at a starting price of about $60,000, okay? $60,000 for your Model 3 Performance Edition. That has a top speed of 162 miles an hour, has a 0 to 60 time of 3.2 seconds, not 3.8, and then has a 310 mile range, which is better than the currently announced Taycans, which are in the 280 mile region. So the Model 3 coming in at 40% less cost probably can beat this Taycan 4S. I don't understand how they're gonna sell it for $100,000. It actually seems like they shouldn't have even announced that one and just stayed at the halo level of the flagships and not tried to bring out, because oh man, I don't see it being worth this much, but that might be because I'm a Tesla fanboy. I don't know. But let's talk about more Tesla news, which is there's information going around suggesting that they're going to be opening up centers in major urban metropolitan areas to actually help combat the inability for them to sell directly to consumers, depending on state laws which don't allow them to have the ability to sell directly to consumers because you need to have a dealership, and Tesla doesn't want to do it. So it's going to be like a service center that's also meant for selling their solar powered roof stuff and merch and a whole bunch. They're basically going through a whole bunch of loopholes to get these centers out here so that they can more smoothly allow for the sales process on their Tesla cars. And it's expected that these are going to get rolled out in Q4 of this year. And it will even help them circumvent laws that force dealerships to close on Sundays in some states, and so they won't have to do that because they're not technically a dealership. It's crazy. I've looked into the whole like dealership debacle with Tesla and why they can't sell directly to consumers, and it's just basically money to politicians. Fantastic. But you know who you don't want to give your money to? Apple. At least I don't, which is why I'm highly interested in this Kickstarter project that's going to be launching in a week on October 21st, and that is the case of the Dune Pro. My friends, this is just the cheese grater from Apple, and it's perfect, and I love it, and I will kickstart this and probably never get it because Apple is going to trademark strike them so fast. But I love it, and I hope you love it too. Let's buy it together, friends. But you know what you don't have to buy, or you will anyways, that's not the important part. GeForce Now has now launched on Android. The transitions are screwing me up today. GeForce now available on Android. However, only in South Korea, but that doesn't mean that you can't install it because the APK has been uploaded to various websites, so you can download it. You obviously would need a GeForce Now subscription, which comes with various NVIDIA Shield things, and you can probably get a way to sign it up. But speaking of the games, somehow The Witcher 3 is coming out for the Nintendo Switch tomorrow, which is super exciting. And there's been a gameplay, 1 hour of gameplay video that has been uploaded to YouTube, and it looks pretty surprisingly good. I would play this. Like, obviously the frame rate's not going to be as good as it could be on PC, but for a portable version of The Witcher that I can play on my Switch Lite, like, it's good enough. But you know what's not good enough? Apparently Facebook's cryptocurrency, because they've had tons of major people pull out. Visa, MasterCard, Stripe all pulled out on Friday, with PayPal pulling out a week earlier. This actually makes sense because today apparently Facebook is having a meeting where everybody who is a founding member has to like actually commit to being part of the cryptocurrency plan, but all of the major payment processing companies are now out for whatever reason. So what that means for the future of the currency is not exactly certain, but the fact that they had them on board at the beginning was one of the reasons I was very excited. Having Visa and MasterCard, who are the world's best payment processors, be supporting a cryptocurrency meant a lot. Now that they're gone, it's just Facebook. And this is also the face that somebody's making, because apparently the logo for the company that is starting the Libra cryptocurrency, Calibra, which is basically a Facebook entity, they stole their logo from another company. It's a mobile banking app called Current, which Current's logo has more colors, has a bit more design, and basically Calibra, their logo is the exact same, but they were like, we only have purple. Done. So now they're getting sued. This cryptocurrency thing's looking less and less promising every single day. You know what else is looking less and less promising? The ability for you to drive yourself around. And that's where the Optimus ride company is apparently trying to come in to bring driverless taxis to suburban areas to help bring them to more metropolitan work areas. They currently have a ride sharing setup that happens in the Washington, D.C. area, transporting people from a parking lot to the Fannie Mae building, but their ultimate plan is to potentially roll this out for the suburbs and get driverless stuff going on out there. So we'll keep an eye on that as it develops. It's just a cool little announcement. But we can't end this episode of Hot News without talking about the big event of the day, week, I guess, which is Fortnite died, finally. They'll suck in on a black hole and die it itself, and Elon Musk finally did it. He bought it, he shut it down. Sort of. Apparently, it's not even just the game that got shut down. It's also the server, the web hosting servers, the forums, everything related to Fortnite is now dead as of recording this. It'll probably be back up by the time this episode goes live. But this is apparently the end of season 10. They're moving on into what is called Chapter 2, which is supposed to be a brand new map with new mechanics and boats and such and things and new Fortnite crap that I don't really pay attention to. And it apparently was leaked on the Apple App Store in a foreign country where they showed the actual teaser for it, Chapter 2. And in case you want to play Fortnite, but all you see is a black hole, if you enter the Konami code of up, up, down, down, BA start, you can actually play a 80s style Atari game, which is kind of cool. And that's it. Yeah, cool, Fortnite's dead and it's coming back. It's not really dead, so don't freak out too much. But you know what is dead? This episode of Hot News. Don't forget to check out Displate at displate.com/UFD Tech Official. Yes, that's right. Enter coupon code UFD to save 15% on the dope metal prints. Oh, my friends, this is going to be a busy week for us. My wife and my son are leaving for the United States on Wednesday. And so we have to get everything ready for that. I'm gonna do my best to get Hot News out every single day. And then once they're gone, I'm gonna be working overtime to get all of the video projects finished that we have been putting off for quite some time. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Hit the like button, get subscribed, and I'm gone. Thank you, bye.